Today, we're diving into what might be the single most critical piece of your entire financial foundation. Seriously, it's the one step that makes everything else we talk about not only possible, but sustainable. Let's get right into it.
Now, we're not talking about flashy investments or chasing the next big thing in crypto. No, we are going so much deeper to something far more fundamental. Today, we are talking about building your financial fortress.
Because let's be real, without this one piece locked down, everything else, all the investing, the compounding, the wealth-building strategies you hear about, it's all like building a skyscraper on sand. It just doesn't hold. This is the absolute bedrock, the thing that actually lets you sleep at night when the world outside is going crazy.
So, where does this all come from? Well, the architect of this entire three-stage 13-step strategy is Tamir Kaham, and what makes his approach so unique, so powerful, is this incredible blend of modern systems engineering logic with the kind of timeless, ancient wisdom you'd find in a book like The Richest Man in Babylon, which, by the way, he actually translated. It's a system that's truly built to withstand anything.
To really get why this step is so profoundly important, let's do a little thought experiment that the source material calls the 2 a.m. heartbeat test. Just imagine this for a second. It's the middle of the night and your phone rings. Or maybe it's Tuesday afternoon and your boss calls you into that conference room and closes the door to talk about restructuring. In that exact split second, what happens inside your body?
Do you feel that cold, gut-wrenching panic because you know there is absolutely zero margin for error in your life? Or can you actually take a calm breath knowing you've prepared for this? That physical reaction, that's the whole ballgame. It's the difference between living on a financial tightrope and standing on a solid fortress. And today, we're building that fortress.
And let's use a powerful analogy here to completely reframe how you think about an emergency fund. Picture a massive rocket launch. You see those giant booster rockets, right? They do all the brutal, heavy lifting, fighting against gravity. But here's the critical part. The booster stage is not supposed to go to orbit. Its entire job is to absorb the immense stress, do the hard work, and then fall away, so that the main mission, the important part, can ascend safely. Your emergency fund, that is your booster stage.
And in our lives, financial gravity is just, well, it's entropy. It's life happening. It's the universe deciding your car's transmission should blow out this week. And if you don't have that booster fund ready to take the hit, your main mission, your retirement accounts, your investments, is forced to burn precious fuel it can't afford to lose. You end up stealing from your future self just to solve a problem today.
So to build this fortress the right way, the Golden Path gives us 3 non-negotiable rules. Now these aren't just suggestions, okay? Think of them as the engineering specs for your financial safety system. They are protection, liquidity, and separation. Let's break them down.
First up, protection, not performance. And this is the one where people get hung up. They say, but what about inflation? And yeah, look, losing a few percent to inflation in a savings account over a year, it's annoying. I get it. But you know what's not annoying? It's catastrophic. Losing 20% of your fund in a market crash at the exact same moment you lose your job. See the difference? The goal here is to beat chaos, not to beat the market.
The best way to think about it is like an insurance premium. You pay for your car insurance every month, and you hope you never, ever have to use it, right? That little bit of purchasing power you lose to inflation, that's the premium you're paying for 100% rock-solid stability. It's the guarantee that the money will be there when you need it most.
Okay, let's move on to rule number 2, liquidity. This one is simple and incredibly strict. This money has to be accessible within 24 to 48 hours, period. That means it needs to be in cash or a cash equivalent, like a high-yield savings account. It does not mean real estate. You can't sell your guest bathroom to pay a surprise medical bill. And it doesn't mean crypto or bonds that are locked.
And this brings us to the psychology of it all with Rule 3, separation. Your emergency fund needs to live in its own separate account. This creates what we call a mental accounting firewall. See, if that money is just sitting in your daily checking account, your brain sees a big number and thinks, hey, I can afford that weekend trip. No, this is not pizza money. This is break glass in case of absolute emergency money.
So here's the big question. How much is enough? The target given is 3 months of, and listen to this word, survival expenses. I really want to emphasize that. This is not 3 months of your current comfortable lifestyle. This is the bare bones, stripped down cost to keep a roof over your head and food on the table.
Let's look at a quick example with real numbers. Let's say your current lifestyle costs you $5,000 a month. But if you had to, you could cut out all the extras and your true survival number is only $3,000. Well, your target for this fund is $9,000, not $15,000. This makes the goal so much more achievable. It's a hill you can climb, not some impossible mountain. Okay, now let's talk about the big mistakes, the traps to avoid. Mistake number 1 is thinking that a credit card is your safety net. It's not. It is a trapdoor. When you use a credit card in a crisis, you're not solving the problem. You are making it mathematically worse by dumping a pile of high-interest debt right on top of the original disaster.
And mistake number 2 is a little counterintuitive, but it is so critical to understand. It's the person who throws every single spare dollar at their debt while having zero savings. Now, that feels really responsible, right? But what happens is, a small crisis hits, they have no choice but to go right back into debt, and they get stuck in this soul-crushing cycle of paying off debt and then reborrowing. You have to build the buffer first, then you can attack the debt with full force.
And look, we have to be brutally honest with ourselves about what an emergency actually is. Losing your job or a medical crisis? Absolutely. A 50% off sale on something you've wanted? Christmas gifts? Nope, not even close. You have to protect this fund, because if you rate it for gifts in December, it won't be there when your car dies in January. So here's your action plan, something you can do this week. 5 simple steps to just get the ball rolling. 1, open a separate savings account. Do it today. 2, give it a powerful name, like Financial Fortress. 3, deposit your first $50. Just make it real. 4, automate future transfers, even if it's small. And 5, do the math. Calculate your exact 3-month survival number so you know exactly what you're aiming for. Now, before we summarize, here is the mandatory reminder. This content is for educational purposes only. It is a framework, not personalized financial advice. There are absolutely no guarantees of results, and you are fully responsible for consulting with qualified professionals to make your own decisions based on your specific situation.
All right, let's wrap this up. Your emergency fund, your financial fortress, is the booster stage that protects your entire financial mission. Just follow those 3 rules: protection, liquidity, separation, and aim for 3 months of true survival expenses. Once you have that in place, you've built the foundation for everything else. And with that fortress secure, our next explainer will tackle Step 8, managing and finally eliminating bad debt for good.
If you want to see the complete 13-part series and get all the visuals that go with these concepts, be sure to subscribe to the Source channel on YouTube, The Golden Path to Financial Independence. You can also find the full, in-depth audio explainers by searching for Deep Dive Golden Path wherever you get your podcasts.
Thanks for joining this deep dive. Remember, financial storms will come. The only question is whether you'll be standing on a fortress when they do. See you next time.